Good morning. How are you all today? I'm doing fine. Today, we're going to be talking about the beautiful mammals that are in Canada. I think Canada is a great country. Certainly, with the United States and Canada, we've been good friends for many, many years. So, moving on, let's talk about Canada is home to a diverse range of animals due to its vast landscape, which includes forests, mountains, tundra, lakes, and coastlines. Kind of got it all. Here are some notable animals that can be found across the country. And again, I'm doing mammals as my first. You know, when I searched for all the animals that are in Canada, you know, there were too many to do in one sitting. And I know you're saying, oh, thank goodness, I don't have to sit that long. But anyway, here we are. The first one is the moose. One of the most iconic animals in Canada, especially in its forests and wetlands. The moose is the largest species in the deer family. And you know, I'll be honest with you, I didn't know, and this is what's so neat about what I do. I learned things that I didn't know before, and it's not where you'd say, well, if you didn't know, it was terrible, you didn't know, and a tremendous problem. No, not really, but it has it where it's exciting. So, I mean, the moose is the largest species in the deer family. Now, you might say, come on, Jim, it looks like a deer. Well, yeah. But the point is, there are some animals that look somewhat alike, but are not necessarily in the same family of animals. So the next one we're going to talk about is the beaver. Beaver. I used to call one of my wives the beeve. And you're probably saying, what do you mean? All of you are probably too old for this. But there was a great show in, I guess, the 50s and 60s. There were many of them. And we had 3 channels, ABC, NBC, CBS, and that was it. But anyway, I had a wonderful wife. I've had more than one. I don't collect them. But I used to call her the Beeve. And why? You're probably saying, well, hey, Jimmy, you're just talking about television shows. Some of you will remember because you're old enough. Some will maybe have caught it on, total old reruns. And I know they had not too long ago, like Where Are They All Today? June and her husband and the Beeve, as we would call it. And I called my wife the Beeve. And that wasn't disrespectful. It was just Leave It to Beaver, which is a funny show. So I used to call her Beeve because I used to say Leave It to Beaver. So anyway, the Canada's national animal, famous for its dam building activities, it plays a vital role in creating wetlands that support various ecosystems. Okay, moving to our next candidate. That is the grizzly bear. And as I've said, my being in Naples, we have bears here, but they're black bears. And luckily they're not where if you walk in the woods and you come upon one of these black bears, you're in a lot of trouble. They're more, thank goodness, and they should be afraid of humans than feeling like we're going to attack everybody or any human we can get our hands on. But grizzly bears are a little different. They have a much bit worse attitude when it comes to I'm going to come after you. So you can see, how would you like to be standing next to this or having this grizzly bear standing and coming after you? I know there's a whole bunch of, well, play dead. They say you can't outrun them, so don't try to run. You know, there's just a lot of warnings, and there's a lot of people that just unfortunately did the wrong thing at the wrong time. Now, the grizzly bear, they're found in western Canada. Now, that's heading toward Alaska, particularly in British Columbia and Alberta. Grizzlies are powerful and are among the largest predators in North America. Now, we have them in, let's say the Rocky Mountains. You know, I think it was 1989, I hiked in the Rockies. And boy, I'll tell you, I used to do hiking in the Smoky Mountains in Tennessee or North Carolina, depending on which side we were on. But hiking's good. But when you're hiking in the Rocky Mountains, it's different. Much higher altitudes. Much harder to climb. I mean, I can go on and on and on. But anyway, we enjoyed that. And the biggest thing, if you ever go hiking in the mountains, bring food. Of course, bring a camera. And bring plenty of water. We learned when we started out with that first hike that we were totally unprepared. So we kind of went, okay. And this very nice couple kind of took us under their wing and helped us with food and water. Would we have continued if we didn't link up with this couple? No. We would have said, let's go back. Let's go to, the closest store where you can buy hiking equipment, hiking boots, and, canteens. I can go on and on and on, because hiking in the Rockies is pretty difficult. Because, A, you're dealing with altitude. And we went way up in the Rocky Mountain National Park, and we decided to hike down from there to, it might have been Woodland Park or Estes Park. So it was really different. You get way up there, it's what we call the tundra, which is frozen land, no trees, and cold. And I'm talking summer. And you still would have snow up there. Don't try to go there in the winter, whatever you do, unless you want to have an issue. Anyway, moving on here. We now have the polar bear. And these are one of my favorite animals, and I love them all, but polar bears are pretty darn cool. Known for inhabiting the Arctic regions of Canada, particularly in Nunavut and Northern Territories, Churchill, Manitoba, is often referred to as the polar bear capital of the world. And we pray for them regularly because, again, we know a lot of their territory is being either getting too warm, they have issues with food, they end up going into some of the Canadian towns, and some folks are probably very afraid of them, and you hope they don't hurt them, but they might. Because if they're looking for food, they're going to be coming into your yard. They might come to your window, and you say, oh, well, I don't know about this, but God bless them, and hopefully someday we'll have such a world that every person, every animal, every insect, every bird, every fish has what they need and can live a peaceful life. That's what we try for all of us. Okay, moving on. This is the caribou. And probably, you said, if you learn something, Jim, this is probably also a member of the deer family. But we'll see that maybe in a minute. The caribou, a species of deer, there we go, that migrates across vast distances in northern Canada. Caribou herds are important to the indigenous cultures. Okay, and by the way, this isn't going to be too long. I know you're saying, gee, Jim, you sure can talk a lot. This afternoon, put it on your calendar. Yesterday I did the modem speeds that we had beginning in the early 80s, late 79, in that point. And today, I have started my own businesses here and there through my life. I'm 75, so I've had a good amount of time to do a lot of different things, which is great. And that's why a lot of times people say, oh, if you're over 40, you're over 50, start a YouTube channel. Because certainly you have a lot of things to talk about. Some of them would be interesting. Some of them would be educational. Some would be funny. Some would be sad. But what I'm going to bring up today is when I started my generator business, we had a hurricane in October of 2005. I'd been in healthcare for many years, but in that period, right about 2002, 2003, 2004, I was doing computers and electronics. And that's one of my presentations a couple of days ago. But what I did after Hurricane Wilma, I said, and this was kind of stupid, and I'll get it into that. I started my generator business, and I became a Generac dealer that didn't know anything. I thought that computers, electronics, and this is kind of one of those very stupid things. I thought computers, electronics, and generators would be in the same kind of categories. Category. No, not even close. So anyway, I'll be going through that this afternoon, and hopefully it will help if those folks want to start a business, or any business is not easy to start. It doesn't basically go like you decide today, tomorrow you're in business. No. And when you're charging people money, you got to A, have your infrastructure set up, and B, and this has always been how I've been in my businesses, honest. And at 75, it's not where I'd say, well, if you start a business when you're 35, you can be dishonest and do great. No. Don't do it, because you're going to get yourself in trouble. And, I'll talk about that in the generator business as to what was happening. And literally, some of the folks that started generator businesses back then went to jail. And I'm going to tell you all that. I'm not trying to bait you, but it will be interesting. Anyway, what you're looking at is the Canadian lynx. This solitary, elusive feline adapted to living in northern forests. Oops, got to put the right animal up, right? Okay. This solitary, elusive feline adapted to living in the northern forest, and it's known for its thick fur. I mean, these are beautiful. Large paws, yep, which help move it through the snow. You know, it's like wearing snow boots, right? Because if you're going to try to get anywhere in the snow, it's tough when you're going and sinking down a foot on each step. So the lynx would say, hey, I can move right along, and if I need to go after you, I can catch you. So anyway, these are wonderful. So anyway, today, and I thank you. And try to come back this afternoon or watch it on the replay. Because what I do with these is lives are fun. Lives, I do admit, you can screw it up. And I don't, if you've watched any of mine in the past, yeah, every once in a while, it's the gods aren't with you. And you have to sometimes stop and start again. You might have to say, oops, I did this, I didn't do that. And about today's Wednesday? I don't know if it was Monday. Could have been over the weekend. Could have been Saturday. My sound. Now I have my mic here, and I can hear myself, and I can look over. That's where you see me every once in a while looking over to my right. It's just making sure that my mic is doing what it needs to do. Now, what happened that particular day, and you don't know it's okay until you finish, and then you go to playback to make sure the sound is good, the video is good. Well, I sounded like Mickey Mouse, and I didn't know it. I started out where I heard an echo, and that's not usual, but then it seemed like it was okay. And there are so many aspects of what you can do that sometimes you miss or hit something you shouldn't. And of course, if the whole presentation is finished, unless the video or the audio especially was bad, crackly, and maybe not able to hear me, I have, even though people that suggest how to do a YouTube channel, they said don't delete anything. But if something is totally bad, I just can't leave it. I will delete it, apologize, and do it again. But you could understand Mickey Mouse or Jimbo Mouse. So I just said, well, I'm going to leave it. And I would never have it where I'd say, well, yeah, I wanted you to think that I did that on purpose. No, I want you to hear my voice as it is. Not Mickey Mouse or Donald Duck, even though I love them. I don't want to sound like them when you're watching me on these live presentations. But anyway, blessings to all. I know hopefully some of the people are getting a little bit going in the right direction in North Florida, Middle Florida. I don't know why we're so blessed here, but it's not like I have the control to say, well, storm, you're not coming here, you're going to go north of here. No, it's one of those, in one of the sayings I have, you win some, you lose some, but you have to get dressed for them all. So in other words, you've got to put your plan together, work your plan, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but you got to try. So anyway, I've gone beyond what I need to talk about today. So this afternoon, I'm going to say, hey, all the things that went wrong in 2006 with starting a generator business. And I started another generator business over here in Naples. And am I stupid? Am I not knowing what I need to do? No. And what I learned from my 2006, and again, I'll go more into this. If you don't know the business, don't get to know the business before you start the business. Or what I've done here with the backup EcoFlow equipment, an Anchor, Bluetti, I've used them here, either in my building or I moved my EcoFlow Ultra into my home so that we were covered and had backup power for both hurricanes. One, we lost about 3 hours of power, and with Milton, we lost it about 11 o'clock at night, and we got it back around 7 o'clock the next day. And again, I was able to supply our power, keep our food cold, because, the typical food in a refrigerator, when you lose power, you only have about 4 hours before you would say, the refrigerator is getting warmer than it should. And let's face it, you don't want to waste food, but you also don't want to get sick. So anyway, not saying any more right now, but say hi to the links, and I'll see you this afternoon. And thanks again very much.